It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as Jeff Hardy speaks about comparisons with Darby Allin and would Kurt Angle wrestle for AEW. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first, Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics is reporting that the AEW Revolution pay-per-view managed to draw 125,000 total buys worldwide. On top of this, the pay-per-view generated just over $5 million. This is 20,000 more than AEW's previous best-selling pay-per-view, Double or Nothing 2020. The show saw Sting's first match since 2015, the debut of Christian Cage, as well as the exploding barbed wire deathmatch main event for the AEW World Championship. This marks the best-selling non-WWE pay-per-view since WCW's Starrcade 1999, which was headlined by Bret Hart vs Goldberg for the WCW title. This certainly shows that the prospect of CM Punk and Brock Lesnar showing up in AEW can really turn a few heads. And all kidding aside, this is a big milestone for AEW as they look to establish themselves as one of the industry leaders in professional wrestling. Tony Khan has announced AEW's latest signing on Twitter yesterday as legit Layla Hirsch has officially signed a new contract with the company. Layla has made several appearances on Dynamite and Dark over the past few months, having made her first AEW appearance in October last year. She was last seen 2 weeks ago during the Women's Eliminator Tournament final show, defeating Miranda Elias in a non-bracket match. Hirsch was born in Moscow, Russia, before moving to the States at a young age. She has a background in amateur wrestling, which she has implemented into her in-ring style, and it looks like we'll be seeing much more of Hirsch in the future, and is a very solid signing for AEW's women's division. This past weekend, Impact held their Sacrifice pay-per-view to crown the unified Impact World Champion. Impact World Champion Rich Swann managed to defeat the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose to take home both belts. Swann is now set to face the AEW World Champion at Impact's Rebellion pay-per-view in a title versus title match, and it seems the belt collector Kenny Omega could be adding 2 more belts to his collection, with him already holding the AEW title and the AAA Mega title. It's almost guaranteed that Omega will be winning the match, as it's unlikely AEW will want him to drop the belt on an Impact pay-per-view to Swann. The match is set for April 24th and is available on Fight for $19.99, and feel free to use our Fight affiliate link in the description below if you fancy helping out the channel. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is involved in a storyline with Edge and Daniel Bryan on the road to WrestleMania. The Tribal Chiefs advocate Paul Heyman cut a promo on Edge during Talkin' Smack and mentioned AEW's recent signing of Christian Cage. Heyman told Edge, "Your best friend in this world knew he was going to become Roman Reigns' target just to get into your head, and what did he do? He ran away before Roman Reigns could target him. How many of your Christians need to convert before you realize it's not smart to piss off Roman Reigns?" This follows Christian's recent appearance at the Royal Rumble in January before jumping to AEW at the Revolution pay-per-view. It's very rare for AEW to be mentioned on WWE TV, but this is certainly an interesting way to build up a potential Edge Reigns matchup. Now we have an update regarding NXT's move to Tuesday nights, which would see the end of the Wednesday Night Wars after 18 months. It was recently reported by the Wrestling Observer that the move could be in doubt, with the NHL and the USA Network failing to agree to a deal, which would mean there would no longer be a need to move NXT from Wednesday nights. In an update from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, he claims that WWE's production calendar lists the first post-WrestleMania NXT is set to be taped on Tuesday, April 13th. This suggests that the move to Tuesdays is still on. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful added to the story by saying, "NXT talent and staff I've spoken to say that their internal talent relations app show blank schedules for the week after WrestleMania. I would imagine Tuesdays will happen then, but WWE hasn't confirmed. There are different calendars for different departments." So it seems NXT talent haven't been told that the move is happening just yet, but if Mike Johnson's report is true, there are some departments within the company that are now aware of the move. In a recent interview with ESPN, WWE superstar Jeff Hardy spoke about his brother Matt and his move to AEW. He was asked about the difference between the two promotions and said, "It's really cool, you know. Matt's in AEW and before the pandemic hit, the crowds were just incredibly on fire. It's so exciting watching. They're very different than the WWE. I don't know how to explain it. I think they're more open-minded." Jeff was then asked about comparisons to AEW's Darby Allin, as well as his own influence on the younger generation of wrestlers, and he replied, "I'm so honoured for people to say that, especially a guy like Darby Allin. I've never met him, but when I watch him on AEW, I'm going, wow, he is a lot like me. He's actually like a real-life stuntman, and I've always kind of said jokingly that I don't think I even know how to wrestle. I think I'm just a stuntman when it comes to this stuff because I'm more about the moments and the highlights instead of the storytelling. Just those big extreme moments. My career has been based around that." Beyond the face paint, the comparisons between the two men are there for all to see. They both have a certain charisma, as well as being daredevil risk takers not afraid to hurt themselves in order to take their opponent out. And before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you drop a like down below as it helps me out a lot. And why not subscribe as we head towards 10,000 subscribers. But let's get back to the video. As great as a Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin match would be down the line, it's unlikely with Jeff recently re-signing with WWE. And finally, before the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, there was much speculation as to who would be the mystery signing. One of the names that cropped up was Kurt Angle, who even tweeted out a video that suggested he could be set to make an in-ring return. Obviously, this wasn't to be, with the video likely being to hype up his upcoming documentary, although it was smart timing on Angle's behalf. Either way, on his podcast The Kurt Angle Show, the Olympic hero was asked if he would ever wrestle for AEW, and he replied, "I don't think so. I texted Big Show and said congratulations on signing with AEW, and he said, oh man, I feel like I'm 25. I was like, holy shit, you're going to wrestle? He didn't answer me, but he said he felt like he was 25 again. I guess that means he's going to wrestle, I don't know." And just a bit of a side note there on what he said about the Big Show, it has been confirmed by AEW that there are plans for Paul White to step foot in the ring at some point, and this was in their statement that initially came out about his signing. But yeah, with that said, Angle has been open about his physical condition on his show, confirming that it was his decision to retire from in-ring competition. It's probably the right call for him not to join AEW, not only because he likely wouldn't be able to live up to his own expectations about his in-ring performance, but AEW have a lot of older stars on their books now, and another spot taken by a 52-year-old probably wouldn't go down well among the fans. They have the likes of Sting, Paul White, Christian, Dustin Rhodes, Matt Hardy to name a few to fill in the legend's role. Although if he did want to have another match, a return to Impact could maybe work out better due to his history with the promotion. But let me know what you think of a Kurt Angle in-ring return in the comments down below.